getting hit by hail. Swing it towards your right. There you go. Well, look at all the leaves on top of my Jeep. It was a pretty rough night last night. A lot of rain and some hail. Mike is over there setting things out to dry. This morning when I got up, I got out and I walked around my Jeep and I noticed that puddle of water over there, and I was taking a look at it and I saw some reflections in it, and I walked up to see what it was up, and there was a great egret standing right in there. I got within about 5 feet of him before I realized that he was there. While waiting for our gear to be less wet, it was too humid with too little wind to truly dry out. Mike gave me a quick rundown on his FJ Cruiser build.
I drive a 2013 FJ Cruiser. My lift kit is basically stock, even though the springs are from Toy Tech suspension. My front bumper is an ARB. My winch is a Warn M8000S for synthetic. I run rock rails by RCI Metalworks. All my armor underneath, the engine skid plate, transmission skid plate, T-case skid plate are RCI Metalworks, as well as the rear differential skid plate. It's basically a stock truck. The tires are stock size, 265/70 by 17, Nitto Trail Grapplers. They've been very good tires. The comms are Midland GMRS and Midland CB.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the TransAmerica Trail, Oklahoma. We are departing our campsite at Bear Creek Cove. A little late this morning after a very rough night. We're going to go back to Newkirk, get some gas, and we're going to make some decisions from there on what we're going to be doing today. Pretty waterfall over to the right. All right, thanks, Mike. Had that symptoms of that crankshaft position indicator again. The check engine light was on. It's just right after this little creek ford that I did. Went back to shoot some video of Mike and came back to start the Jeep. It wouldn't start. So I waited a couple of minutes, had the hood open, moved a couple of wires around, and it started right off the bat. Let me know when you're ready, Mike.
Go ahead.
And the check engine light is out. You want to know the name of this road? It's Dry Road.
Somebody Carmen, it says East Dry Road. Yeah, really. But they've got stream crossing.
That is the Arkansas River that we're crossing.
That's it's funny, it's a lot bigger here than it is in Colorado.
Newkirk and gassed up and are now headed back to the east on the TransAmerica Trail. We just passed a group of 5 or 6 rigs that were headed the other direction that were camped at Osage Hills last night. And they said we won't have any trouble getting to Osage Hills. They started at the Atlantic Ocean and are headed all of the way to Port Orford. Here is the Arkansas River. Third time we're crossing it, just because we went back to get the gas. And we are back on the part of the Tat that we had not driven yet, just north of Bear Creek Cove where we camped last night. Ah, watch out.
Yeah, and you said it was the hills were going to start rolling hills. You were right on.
Oncoming traffic. I like these big open fields like this. These green hills are really pretty.
Definitely, this is rolling hills country, and I'm used to looking at brown fields in Colorado, so any field with green on it is amazing and very much appreciated, especially since you can look out to the horizon and see how green it is.
It reminds me of meadows that you see when you're like hiking through the mountains or driving through the mountains. All of a sudden you come on this big giant meadow. But this is huge. I mean, we've been in here for what, a half hour now?
So, maybe a little more. To the right are not as green. In fact, they're a little bit brown. It smells like a fire came through because my window's open and you can definitely smell that fire, the smoke.
Yeah, you can see it. The grass is growing up around all the black charred stuff.
They burned it on purpose to add a little nitrogen in the soil, and then they'll replant it whenever it's ready.
Did I say something about finding some shade?
I don't know. Might be hard pressed.
See some trees there in the distance.
I don't see any trees for a while.
Below the horizon. Well, we're not going to those trees. We're turning to the left here.
I see that.
No, we're not. We're going to go to the right. We're going to do a little exploring, okay? I was hoping we'd stumble on this. We are entering the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve. Should be able to see some bison here.
Bison roam free?
Oh yeah, they'll be all around us. Remember I was talking to Mark and I told him the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve was in Oklahoma?
I remember that, and I've seen this on the map also.
If there's no facilities to eat lunch, we can always come back. Here's picnic tables and all that right here. Doesn't look like it might be open.
Just closed. The other time I was here, it wasn't manned either.
No worries. We can make do. There's nice picnic tables in the shade.
Brick building.
It's a gorgeous building.
Thinking in March when the country basically was locked down, I thought to myself, man, all my plans for the summer are just gone. I can't do them. Even though what we're doing, overlanding, is by nature social distancing. Everyone's in their own vehicles. Generally speaking, if you have your passenger, it's someone of your same family, your wife or spouse or a brother or sister or something like that. So, and you can definitely put your tents far apart. You can definitely set apart. You don't have to sit next to each other at dinner time. Ground a campfire. We can space ourselves a lot evenly or whatever. So, but at the same time, I'm thinking, wow, this is something that all the plans, because I know that these trips take planning.
Do you see the calf in the middle of the road?
Yep, I do.
There may be, I think there's two of them. There's one on the other side of this one on the right edge of the road.
We drove a loop around the rest of the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve, but didn't find any other bison herds. So we headed back to the Tat.
Yeah, I'm glad the land doesn't look like this for us to visit this trip. Does that mean we're split between Oklahoma and Kansas since we're driving on the state line? Goodbye, Kansas. You know, as long as I've lived in Oklahoma, this is the most I've ever been able to identify with what it must have been like in the Great Plains back in the 1800s.
Yep. Coming along here in an ox cart wagon with a family, trying to find some land to buy or homestead or whatever they did back then.
Well, the terrain sure changed, didn't it?
Good. A little bit more hilly.
No, I mean the plant life.
Plant life, yes. These nice trees.
We're coming on the town of Elgin.
Is that Elgin, Kansas?
Yep, we're going to drive the border again for a little bit. Cool bridge coming up.
Pretty cool.
Great blue heron over on the right, flying over what? No, it's a pelican, I think. That is a pelican.
Yep, pretty cool.
We have turned off the TAT and are headed the most direct route to Osage Hills State Park. Our campsite here at Osage Hills State Park. Looking for Q. It was getting late in the day, so I took a quick hike out to the Osage Hills Waterfalls. Then Mike and I made dinner, set camp, and sat down to discuss the trip thus far. Tomorrow, Mike would head home.
So the trip?
Trip it's been enlightening.
Enlightening, huh?
Yeah, it's I never really had overland before, and you and I had communicated for weeks or months, and I've watched your videos, and I've all been pumped up on the trip and overlanding and doing it right, and I think I knew all of the aspects of it. I didn't